Well, welcome everybody. We have another deck profile here. I know it's been a hot minute, but there's going to be a lot of deck profiles flying out here between my channel and the team channel. And here's our first one up. This is Isaiah's ninth place finish at, you said it was PlayTCG, Regional Online?
Yeah, it was PlayTCGs.
And you got it with Foo. I think people were thinking the black deck Vegito is going to be the one, but you're still rocking the Foo, and this is a deck that I have been loving, and I'm glad that you were able to top with it. So, walk us through it.
Yeah. So for leader, one of the reasons why I choose Fu over like any of the other black leaders, but mainly just because I don't like the RNG when it comes to milling. I'm really unlucky with that, hitting like super combos or really good tech cards or negates. So Fu, it just kind of feels like one of the better black decks that you don't have to rely on RNG for. And it can draw a pretty decent amount, and the redirect can win you a lot of games if people don't remember or prepare for it.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, so pretty much for Fu, I mean, you guys should know what the leader does, but like front and back side is just draw a card, look at the top five, grab a Fu or a Cumber, put it face up in the Z deck, and on the back side he does the redirect, which I think even when I played it at Nats earlier this year, a lot of people really forget about it, or they combo way too high. And like I had a guy do like 90k once into my leader to try to double strike, and it went towards a Cumber. So
Yeah,
uh,
it's true. It's activate battle that I don't know. I feel like a lot of Who players do save it because it's kind of like a lot of people are just like, yeah, whatever. It's a really good leader. You're top fiving. You're searching your deck to get your pieces for your Z deck, and then you have this activate battle part where it's just like, oh shit. That I
yep,
also got to watch out for this once per turn. It's not like it's not like, oh, he needs
yeah,
this over here. It's like, no, my leader just says redirect this to rest mode Cumber. And guess what? Most of them are servants. So they're going to be rest moded anyway. So they're going to be
yeah,
stuck there
exactly.
as meat shields that you're going to have to get rid of anyway.
Yeah, and a lot of times you don't want to like. A lot of people don't want to waste the time like getting rid of the six drops in rest mode because they're not really a threat after they swing. So they just kind of leave them there, or they like sequence their turns awkwardly to try to bait out the redirect, and it almost never works.
Mm.
So, but and on to the main deck. Like the first three cards are the Cumber, the six drop Cumbers. You have to play four of each.
Mm.
The best one of the three is the Jet Black Hostility. Just like warping a card from your opponent's hand, like is always good. The overwhelming fight is the guy that warps anything from the board. Doesn't ignore barrier, but he doesn't have a cost restriction. He's probably the second best. And the third best is Thriving Darkness. Like he is only really good on turn two when you're trying to set up your Fuzi battle card and your Z extra card. Just because he can combo with something from drop, and then you just play it on turn
Yeah.
two.
Yeah, no.
So
I find him super good for, yeah, the early turns where it's just like, okay, I'm not really wasting this combo piece. It's going back after and then
yeah,
establishing both there.
yeah, or less, or like if you have to like reestablish your one drop food, like if your opponent doesn't have like a battle card or something, like you can like play this dude just to get like a free swing and a Z charge. So it's like pretty cool, and then you just play the hand ripper. So it's those three are pretty good in the core engine. And we run the first seven drop. This card is this card is ridiculous, especially now that the Z deck is 10. You
Oh
pretty
yeah.
much just
Everything
you pretty
just
much just get rid
gone,
of
just
everything.
gone. Yeah, the new black staple. Like any black
Yeah,
deck that's not running at least like two of these because you can just use the
yeah,
place one underneath from your warp or drop underneath the one you're playing anyway. So it's just
yeah,
like, why not?
yeah. This card is like in every block deck you should be playing like the least amount is two, and that's like if you just have no
Yeah.
space. But this is almost like an instant 4 of just because it's berry removal. It can be a double strike on turn four. It comes in for one. This card does a lot.
And it
So it
looks
really
fire.
is.
That's another thing
Yeah.
too. It just looks fucking
Oh
sick.
yeah. Yeah. Those SPRs are like
Yeah.
really nice.
Oh yeah.
Uh, then the next Cumber that I play is the Extreme Offense.
Really?
Extreme
Okay.
Offense. So I play two of these. This helps you keep up hand advantage because even though Fu does have a lot of cards in hand, it's
Mhm.
kind of like he doesn't really draw a lot. It's just because the main battle cards that you're playing are not from your hand most of the times, because you're mainly playing like your 6 drops in the first like few turns. And if you do play a 7 drop, most of the times it's off of the 8 drop Fu. So you're playing like one card a turn from your hand or like two. So your hand always kind of stays up high. But with this guy, he combos really well with like the Fu, because you can play him off of the Fu from the drop or face up in the Z deck,
Yeah.
and you just can stun lock something. So if you don't have the removal, you can just lock it in rest mode, and then you can draw a card, and then with the Fu, you can make him a 25k swing. So like we can just click on the Fu now, like he's so with Fu, you can play him, and you'll make it a 25k swing, and then Fu swings for 25 as well.
Mhm.
So you have basically a triple attack for 2 that draws a card, and then you can bottom deck any one of your 6 drops or the 7 drop that you gave Servant. So he's
Mhm.
a dual attack draw, or basically for 2 energy in this. It's a triple attack that's 25k, and that combo draws 3 cards
Damn.
for 2 energy. So it's really, really good. And you get to stun lock something. So it's really, really nice. This Fu is really good. The only issue with it is they put the limit 1 on the dual attack.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Don't really like that too much, but I completely understand because getting multiple Fus out and having like a million dual attackers is ridiculous.
Yeah,
But
because the activate main is what you think would be limit, like having
right.
the limit, but you could play multiple of them. They just only one of them swinging twice, which is, I guess, cool in itself too, right? Because he's still getting
Yeah.
the effect to play the cumber, so you're still getting another bastard out there that you could turn forward anyway. Could just be super super scary with this deck.
Yeah, and it's he also works like really well. So the 7 drop cumber, the extreme offense, he you can play him for 1 if you just have a Fu card in play. So if you have the Fu Z battle card, which most of the time you will, you can just play him for 1 for a guy that can stun something and draw a card for 15k.
Mm.
So it's not horrible. Played it against a the Gogeta or Vegito matchup with the fusion guy, the black leader,
Okay,
and he
yeah, yeah.
blocked. Yeah, like if they like do some weird stuff, like you can just lock one of their guys, and you just kind of be safe from like a big threat that they just get on board. So it's something to kind of be mindful of. You can just play this for 1, so you can be used as a cantrip. So
Fair
it's not
enough. Yeah,
horrible.
that's one card that I've never, like, I've played Fu a few times. Really love the deck. Never threw in that cover 'cause that came from one of the regional prizings, right?
Yeah, like he's mainly you're supposed to really use him for the Cumber leader, because you can get you can combo with one of your opponent's battle
Yeah, that's what it
cards.
seemed like, and being like a 7 drop. But no, putting it that way and playing it off the food, no, it seems like a super good way to use it in this deck.
Yeah, you can see a lot more people that use the 6 drop dual attacker, because with Fu, if you can play that for like 3 energy, you can get a two you get two 25k swings, and you give the 6 drop dual attack or servant, so it's 29k dual attack. So it's not horrible, but I think the draw is just better.
Yeah, yeah. Draws win games. That's what it is. All the top decks you always see just fucking book in their hand. So
Yeah. So the next 2 cards are just the 2 Fus. I only played these 2 just because they were cantrips, and I wanted to kind of max out on cards that can fix my hand. And these were pretty good. I think in the future I'll play the other one that warps a 5 or less, only because of the Tapion matchup. Because you don't want to
makes
waste
sense.
like, yeah, you don't want to waste a 7 drop or the 6 drop Cumber to remove a 1 drop from the board.
Hmm.
Um, like it's just they win out in that exchange when like you can just play a Fu and hit something that has like the Fu has the 5 or less requirement,
Hmm.
and it only costs 1, and the other 2 like basically have no limit on the cost except for the 7 drop. But we'll always have like 10 plus in our Z deck, so that doesn't matter.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Fair
but
enough.
the other 2, yeah, these 2 guys are just cantrips. You just want to make sure you can see at least one of them turn 1 so you can do your play. And next card is the Meki Kabura. So
This
this
I
card is
fucking love this one, and yeah, this is such
yeah,
a good thing to do with those extra 6 drops, right? Where it's
Mhm.
just like, okay, well, they're not gonna remove them anyway. Let me remove them and
Yeah.
replace my hand.
Yeah, I see a lot of people that don't play this, and I understand, but like, man, like in the late games when you just have nothing to do with your turns, like you just play this one drop, you draw. It's like it's a one drop that with Overlord can draw you two, and because he gives you a token, like he's a one drop that draws two cards and by himself is a 10k combo because he gives you a token.
No,
So
he's
like,
super sick.
yeah, so he's really really good in helping you hit numbers, like even against like 20k Z leaders. So like for one energy, I'll get myself a token. So now I can swing freely with the leader that's 15 and combo the token away, no problem. So like even 20k Z leaders aren't necessarily an issue with this card. So yeah, it's pretty. I think it's pretty good. I think I don't think people should cut it completely, but if you want, you can just play like 2 copies and put in like 2 of the other 5 drop food, and I think that will work out fine. But yeah, and then next few cards, next 3 cards, it's just like the staples. Like you got to play support. I think I know a lot of people main deck 2 petrifications, but I always sided in the 3rd copy, so I just said screw it and put in a third.
Hey,
Uh,
it's a
yeah.
ridiculous card. Just stuff like even simple stuff like Father Son Kamehameha, where it's just like, okay, I'm gonna make you ditch a card. I'm gonna
Hmm.
KO something annoying bears. Like, yeah, well, I'm gonna tap one, ditch a card, and you're not gonna do that. Okay, you're just
Yeah,
gonna sit there
exactly.
and let me do my turn.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like this card is a staple, and it's so good against every single matchup that it's just like you might as well just play it at 3. And I feel like there are certain situations where you should be playing 4, but it just never like 4 just never fits for some
Mm-hmm.
reason. Like 3 is just always perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always been on the fence with Super Kame, but there's just too many against yellow. There's just too many good floodgate battle cards that they can play. So it just works out. And then against Tapion, like you can just prevent them from playing the one drop, so it just works out. Uh, next 2 cards. I wanted a 2-2 split on Oceanus and Supreme Kai because this online regional was one of the first events for the new format, so I didn't really know exactly how the format was gonna go. So I just wanted all the options and I wanted some space in my side deck. Oceanus is it's 50-50. Like the card is good, but there's so many there's so many just ways to stop this, especially like the main matchup you want to play it against is like red. Uh and they have like that shoe counterplay that they can play to stop it. So it's like not great. Um it's decent against yellow now that they don't have cooler, but what they have the Shinron now, so it's like they'll tap the energy, you'll almost never have 2 up when they go for the kill turn. So I don't know. I might take Oceanus out and move her back to the side. The Supreme Kai is really good in 90% of matchups except for Green Goku. Uh,
Really?
cause, yes, because if you remove
I
their
guess so. Yeah, the big guy.
yeah yeah
Huh.
like if you remove any of their battle cards with skills, they get to pop, like the Goku gets to pop something, the other Goku gets to rip 3 cards, and then they get it back. So
Yeah,
it
that's true. That's kind of, yeah. You're
yeah
just like, okay, I put this away. I got 3, but for what cost? He's just gonna do that again if I have to remove it, and he's still got this triple striker. Yeah, I guess not permanently
yeah
removing it. Yeah, it's
yeah
good.
like
It's great for SCRs. That's what I love
yeah
about it because SCRs
100%.
aren't coming back. But yeah, that Goku
Yeah.
deck definitely. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, this is like only really good against the Gohanks deck and the U7 deck because you can just warp the 6 drops, or with their 7 and 5 drop you can just, or 7 and 4 drop on Gohanks you can just get rid of them, and they have to like play another threat. So, and especially 'cause it's like if you don't want to waste a petrification on a turn where like they're not gonna kill you, but you don't want to like spend all of the combo power from hand or do the redirect, you just do the Kai and you're pretty much straight. Um, so next card, obviously super combo, best super combo. Card after that, so the
Best art
Goku.
too. That one I love what they
Yeah,
did with the anniversary one.
I love the kanjis.
Oh yeah,
I
beautiful.
love those art. Next card is the Berserk Instincts. Um, this card is a 2 of is fine.
Hmm.
You don't need more than two. You don't really. If you have to use this card to combo with it and give it to your opponent, you're probably losing the game. Um, you mainly only play this card because you need a cheap one-drop double striker. If you don't want to play the Cumber because it may sequence awkwardly, you can play this and you basically get a 25k double striker anyways. Um, Especially now with there being another black deck in the format, I would never want to give them a
Oh god,
25k
no, yeah.
double striker, and it's a Goku card. Uh, and then against like U7, you never want to do that because they can just like their hand is huge, so you never want to give them just a free double striker also. So you're mainly just using this for a one drop double striker for those turns where you just have nothing to do, and it works out.
Yeah, it's not bad either too, just playing it doing that, especially if you're running dark ruler, so it's something you can just
Yeah,
bottom deck, draw a card.
exactly. So it always can come back later on, like when you do your top five shuffle and all that
Mm.
stuff. So it's like at least because you can do your shuffle with your leader almost every turn, um, you're guaranteed to potentially see it in the future after you bottom deck it with like Meki Kabura or 8-drop Fu.
Yeah,
So
no, it's funny that you did mention at the beginning that you don't like black decks typically because the RNG, but Fu, yeah,
yeah,
is basically the opposite. You are seeing your entire deck every game. You're top
yes,
fiving all the time. You're going through this
dude.
here, putting this there.
I think one game by like turn 3 or 4, I had like 16 cards in hand.
Yeah, it's
Like
nuts.
it was just ridiculous. Like you're able to like, and you're always drawing decent cards because you're always snatching out the Cumbers or the Foos from your deck. So you almost never have to see those dead cards. And because the 5-drop Foos can they can put the Cumbers back into your Z deck and take the Foos out. Like you can always fix your hand to be what you want it to be at almost any given point. So it's really, really nice. Next card is the SS Bardock Tenacious. I mean, it's a floodgate.
Yeah.
I would probably bump this up to 2 now. Just because one of the cards in my deck, I just never used it. In theory, it worked, but it just never came up. So next card is Mass Saiyan. I know some decks don't play this, but with Tapion being in the format, and they play like all of the 1-drops and the 4s and 2-drops and stuff like that, the legs, like just being able to clear their board instead of having to do one card that rips something or one card that removes something, just being able to warp their board is just so good. And
Warp's
it's a
huge too. That's the thing against
yeah,
Tapion, right? Because they're getting shit from the
yes,
drop. They're not getting it from the warp.
exactly. I think that's why a lot of decks. I think that's why a lot more decks typically struggle against Tapion. Like I don't think Black does, even though like their hand is always going to be huge. But when you just constantly keep warping their 1-drops, and they have to keep using more 1-drops from hand, or you keep using like Harudagons to dump more 1-drops, like their turns aren't really doing anything. Like they're just like, okay, I'm trying to set up for future turns to do this. Like if there was a card that was like better for Black, not like the attack rare, that Majin Buu attack rare that warps something from the
Oh,
drop,
okay, yeah, yeah.
like yeah, I think Tapion would just be an immediate win for like any Black deck. Um, oh, so the next card is this Overrealm. SS4 Goku works so good in theory because you can Overwhelm it and you can grab back your 7-drop Cumber, the actual 25k. You can grab back Oshi Ennis, Supreme Kai. You can even grab your Berserk Instincts if they kill it. And you can grab back like a Tenacious to use the following turn. In theory, it works so well, but in application, you just almost never need it. Like I thought it was gonna be so much better than what it was, but in most other situations, I would have rather had like another Bardock or just something else. Like I don't know. It's like all the times where I could play it, something else was just better to play.
Fair enough.
But I don't know. Like I said, in theory, it does work really well. Especially with the Berserk Instincts, like you get a 30k swing and a 25k double strike swing for 1 energy, which is nice. But like I said, just sometimes you just rather play something else. And then last card is the The
Makes
secret
sense.
rare.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't even need to look
yeah,
to know that it was, of course, Evil
yeah,
saying this card is just too good. I
yeah,
know it has its own secret rare for the deck, but this one just, I don't know,
yeah.
takes a lot to top
Like,
this SCR.
dude, it's just because like so I was originally like when I first picked up the deck playing the Cumber secret rare, but your deck has so much defense, and every single deck can remove the Cumber secret rare. Like
Hmm.
they have to expend two removal type cards to get rid of it, but every single deck can do that. Like U7 can negate its skills, so that doesn't do anything. Red can minus it with like 2 or 3 energy. Red can minus it straight to 0, so it doesn't do anything. Blue, like everything can play like a cheap SR that pops something. It not like basically doesn't even care about the cost. So I would just rather have an offensive tool like Evil Saiyan, and this card wins way more matchups than the
Oh,
Cumber.
yeah,
Like,
no, this is just every time facing against black, it's just like, do I want to go from 3 to 2? If I go from 3 to
exactly.
2, Evil Sand's coming out. I've turned off my my token negates. I've turned off
Mm-hmm.
any sparking. Like, can I survive this? That's always what it feels like in the black matchup. It's just like, if
Exactly.
he's gotten his warp already, I've already seen. If not, he can have it in hand, and I'm screwed. So yeah, it makes going under 4 life so scary because it's like, okay, I'm at the
Yeah.
3. What can he do now?
Exactly. And a lot of decks like you have to sequence your turn so optimal to like play around this. Because like one of the matchups that I played against was a skillless U7 or a skillless Goku deck, and he could not out this card. Like I think it took him like 4 or 5 turns to out this Evil Saiyan.
Yeah.
Like he was just giving like he had to play like 30k vanillas, and I would just okay, well I'll just warp this Cumber that's in rest mode and take your 30k.
Hmm.
So so it puts in so much work, especially against decks that are like playing battle card floodgates. Like it just yeah, no, this card is amazing. But that's it for the main deck. Z deck is pretty simple. Like first 2 cards, it's like the main in archetype card. Uh the Foo's Lab.
Mm.
Um I almost never use the second Foo's Lab, but it's there just in case. Because there are some times when you do have to do the discard and play a
Mm.
Cumber from your Z deck and redirect that way. I think out of me playing this deck for the last like 6 months, I've only done that like twice.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, but you have the
yeah,
second one just in case, right? Because it is
exactly.
possible where it's just like, okay, he's shotgunning. I don't got a cumber on. Okay, let's do this. Like,
Yeah, like it almost like I said, it almost never comes up, but just because it has happened and it has saved me games, I have to play the second. Next card is the Fu assembling the strong. This is only in there for the red matchup because red, even though red does have cards that can go through barrier, they're not abundant. And this card is really good against the counterplay Gohan, because that doesn't ignore barrier when it comes in at minus. So if you're reading that card, play it. Because I did lose at Nats because I just misread the situation and walked into it and and played the fighting in thrust treatment instead or
mm-hmm.
enthusiast treatment over the assembling the strong. So you just got to play one. You almost never play it, but just in case. Next to is the Fu or the SS4 and the Boo. Um, I'll be real. The Boo can just get cut to 1, and you can just put any other good Black Z card in there. Um, Boo and SS4 do exactly the same thing for, if you really think about it, math wise, the exact same Z
Yeah,
cost.
exact same Z cost except one can win you on a double strike.
Exactly. So I think SS4 is better because his removal is on the play, and he can double as a finisher. Um, he doesn't have deflect, which I mean it's whatever. But if he only cost 1, so it's like
I
for
get
a
I
1,
That's probably the difference there between
yeah,
Boo and if you want to bait out something, Boo is better because Boo you're only wasting 1 Z energy, where
yeah,
Goku you gotta waste 2 Z energy. Boo it's separated the 2 Z energy cost. I guess that's why
Yeah,
you'd still keep the Boo, right? And blocker, at least it's something you
yeah,
might not. You're probably never getting the blocker, but it's something they have
yeah.
to remove before they can go lethal.
Exactly. Like that is the only reason why I'd even remotely like leave the boot in, just because there's been times where like I use the boo and the blocker ability has come up, but most of the times I'd rather just go for the double strike.
Mm.
But boo is still good. I think they're both equally good in their own rights, but I think SS4 is just kind of overall better. But I wouldn't play more than two because you're almost never going to be able to. Removing 10 cards from the warp one, or from the warper drop once happens. Doing it twice is a lot.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it for the Z. For the side deck, I'll just show all the cards. I kept
mm-hmm.
it extremely simple.
Makes sense.
Uh, yeah, the Koitsukai mainly there for mill decks or cooler mill. Um,
Yeah,
it's
that
a
how's
state.
that matchup go? That's one thing because I've played that matchup once and it was hell. It was hell
So
because you draw so much in this deck.
you do. So one of the things with cooler mill is you can win that matchup based off of Evil Saiyan and Koitsukai. So what you and this is one of the reasons why I also side deck the Meki Kabura, because Meki Kabura. So what you can do is turn on your turn 3, you play Meki Kabura and call 5-drop Cooler, and their entire deck shuts off.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's pretty smart.
yeah, you call 5-drop Cooler, their entire deck shuts off. They can do absolutely nothing except play a Hercule Boo. And then on your following turn, you Evil Saiyan Secret Rare them, and then you Koitsukai. So now they have to arrival a cooler that's gonna get
It's gonna
stolen.
be taxed
They
and stolen.
Yes, it's
Oh
gonna
my
be taxed
god.
and stolen, and then they have to do another one to try to kill your Evil Saiyan. It's and then you got to think they're doing their cooler play on your turn, so they don't even get the minus ability. It just taxes them entirely too much. And that's in my Nats list. I was playing 2 Meki Kaburas because cooler was so prevalent at all the different nationals.
Hmm.
Um, so I was playing 2 Meki Kaburas, so you can go turn 3 Meki Kabura, turn 4 Secret Rare, and then turn 5 you Meki Kabura them again, and they just lose.
Yeah, at that point you're going back to like as close as you can
Yeah,
back to back. Make a board. It's like yeah, okay, I'm done.
yeah. Like it. The sometimes the games kind of get close, but if you can not if you can combo correctly, or if you can notice that your hand advantage is okay against cooler, and it's not bad, you don't actually need to draw with your leader as much. So that's a good thing. You don't have to. You're not forced to draw with your
Hmm.
leader.
That's true.
Uh, and also, one thing that people don't realize about the super combos that bottom deck and draw two is you don't have to actually bottom deck to draw two with them. You can just combo them for 10k. You just you just don't get the draw two unless you bottom deck, but they get 10k
Oh, they
combo
still get a
power
10k.
regardless.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's one way you can play around mill with those super combos. You just don't draw.
Yeah, it's such a shitty way to deal with it because like okay, in any other deck
Yeah.
this would be great. I'm refreshing my hand, getting it replaced, and here it's just like okay, I'm just getting rid of this card. I don't want no, my deck
Mhm.
stays in place. I don't want any more shit.
Exactly. Exactly. Deborah, it's green is especially now this because we're recording this way later, but now with Cell being a leader in a deck, you need to have Deborah's probably at 4 copies. Um,
Yeah, this is
just
all I've
getting
been
your
hearing is sell, 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 which
yeah,
I guess we'll have to see more about that in the later deck lists we do. But
yeah,
yeah, I'm
for
excited to
sure.
see.
Yeah, then Black Smoke because Z unisons were a thing. You just want to have an out to it, especially the yellow. Not the yellow Z unison, but just the Vegeta that like switches itself to rest mode. You can't swing with high cost cards. You got to get that thing off board. I was originally playing 2 Black Smokes, but like I said, because Z unisons were a thing, I'd rather just take the 2 energy and get rid of it off rip than have to worry about it. Um, Dark Power. I am a very big fan of this because it hits a very large amount of decks. You play this against Tapion, it hits it against the Black Vegito deck. All of their like cantrip guys that they play all get hit by this.
Hmm. They're all 15, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they're all 15s. Back when Android 21 was a thing, you could play this if they try to play like the token generators. You play this and you can screw them out of that. So I really liked it. It came up a couple times. It's not a great card, but it's a card that does its job when it comes up. Rebellion Hammer. It's Rebellion Hammer.
Yeah.
Like, it's decent. I'm not liking it that much this format as much. So that would probably be something else. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the deck. I like Fu. I think Fu is probably just based off of how the format is shaped out and numbers wise. It's probably the second best black deck next to Vegito. Just because Vegito's explosive, it can do a lot of stuff on low energy and low hands. But if you want just a consistent, good black deck that can draw a lot of cards, doesn't have to worry about the RNG, I think Fu is the next best thing for you. And matchup wise, for the 7 rounds, I beat Go Hanks, but it was he forgot to play his life, so that was unfortunate for him.
Okay.
So he unfortunately got a game loss. That just sucks. Round 2, I went against a Fu mirror match, and I saw my evil Saiyan and he didn't. So that was a thing.
There you go.
Yeah. The skillless Goku was round 3. Evil Saiyan won the matchup. So round 4, I lost against Dane, who was on Tapion.
Okay.
And I did lose, but I shouldn't have lost. There was an error in gameplay that we figured out after the game that probably lost me the match, or more than likely lost me the match. But I did lose. On paper, I lost, but I probably should have been 4-0 at that time, but he was my first loss. It's no hard feelings. We talked about it. We joke about it, so it's all good.
All good.
Round 5 was Vejex.
Vejex. Wow, okay.
Yeah.
You're facing the most amount of black decks I've ever heard anybody face in a regional. I thought it was just going to be Vegito, and now you're saying someone else played Fu, and now Vejex. What the hell's going on?
Yeah. He played Vejex. Mainly the Jet Black hostility won me the game because like you just like I saw like 3 Jet Blacks and I just never swung at them.
And just playing the hand control game, huh?
Yeah, like his hand just got way too low, and then I just started like poking and pricking at him like the entire game, and it was just a wrap from there. Then I played against Janemba. Had an issue in that matchup, but we won in time. But I won the matchup. It is what it is. And then last round, I lost against my teammate. How do we pronounce his name? Is it Beer?
Beer is the easiest way. Just go with beer. Like to drink. That's what he always goes with.
Okay. All right. I lost to Beer. He was on Green Goku. I made a misplay. I should have cleared his 8-drop Goku and just discarded 3 cards, and I probably would have won the game. But I did lose in time. I think giving me maybe like a minute or 2 more on time, I win the matchup. But I made a misplay that also cost me the game. But I was X2. Like I said, both of the matchups that I did lose against, I feel like I probably should have won if I wasn't due to just some errors in my gameplay and some misplays. But I mean, that's the name of the game. You gotta do what you gotta do.
It's true.
So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Overall, I enjoyed it. I would probably keep playing Fu for the rest of the year unless something else pops up that's crazy in black.
No, I guess just any new black stuff is just gonna be kind of, does this fit in Fu? Does this work here kind of thing?
Yeah, either does it fit in Fu, does it work, or it had to be like something so insane like the new the new Wave 2 and regional pricing got announced. I saw
Yeah. Yeah, it looks
the black,
fucking good.
yeah, the black 6-drop Trunks makes me kind of want to
Yeah.
go mess around with Super Saiyan God Trunks for a little bit. So that could be the next thing I mess around with.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're gonna see Trunks have a reemergence because, yeah, that card seems really fucking good.
Yeah, oh yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Well, perfect. Well, congrats on the 9th again, and thanks for showing off the deck.
Appreciate it.
Oh, I got more of the teammates on deck, so you guys stay tuned, and I'll see you in hell.